Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Under the Iron Flag with this week's episode of We Just Want to Talk About One Piece. Today, we'll be covering part 2 of the Water 7 arc. I am Lucian Graves, your vice captain, and with me today, I have your captain Iron Aggro
Hi.
and your navigator Saflam.
What's up? Also, best intro yet.
Thank you.
Professional.
Nailed it.
I took 40 seconds to write it out. I appreciate the compliments.
Writing something
I know.
incredible.
So we have a lot to unpack in this half of the arc, so I'm not sure exactly where we should start. Maybe we should start with the brand new character introduced.
Who?
Soge King, baby! The king of snipers himself.
Where's he born? He's born on
Sniper Island.
Sniper Island.
Yeah.
Where's Sniper Island?
I love
Yeah.
Where's
Sniper
Sniper Island, Iron?
Yeah.
In the boring dimension. Ayo.
How dare you?
In your heart. Sniper Island is in your heart. You haven't heard that part yet? Has he not said that yet?
He has. He said it.
Yeah.
And we made Aggro watch the Soge
It's
King
true.
anime OP before the start of this
true.
episode.
Oh my god. Please, in the intro of this episode, just put the Soga King animation.
Talk about Sniper King. I need to do something real quick.
Okay. Obviously he's introduced a bit later, but you know.
But it kind of segues into the start of this part with
Yeah.
Usopp kind of
and Frankie
getting kidnapped, quote unquote, by Frankie and the two sisters.
Yeah, that was very good. I like their the start of their interactions where they're both like, "I hate you, I hate you." Then they talk for 2 seconds and they're like, you have Frankie bawling his eyes out,
I think
calling
Frankie's
Usopp an
too-
idiot.
I think he's like a weird not anti-hero. What's the word? He's an antagonist for the first part of the arc. And then all of a sudden he's kind of like an ally maybe because their
For
things
sure, yeah.
align. And then he sacrifices himself to save Robin, Sanji, and Usopp at like the end of the Sea Train arc. I like to think that the Sea Train arc is kind of an arc on its own, but since the official has put it under Water 7, I decided, okay, whatever. I mean, because Water 7 just so much to read because we ended off with the crew with Luffy and Zoro going missing, Sanji's missing, Robin is gone, and Usopp, like we said, is with Frankie. And there's just so much left to cover. I forgot how much was in this arc, to be honest.
I mean, I guess we end with if you remember, well, maybe we should wait for Aggro for that, but we can remind him. Aggro thought that the person, like the silhouette in the final panel of chapter 348, he thought was Frankie, but it was actually Rob Lucci, in his new form. He has the cat fruit model leopard.
Meow.
Yes, meow. That is what the Lucci says.
Yes. We were just saying that you thought the shadow in the last chapter we read last time.
I corrected myself on the podcast and I checked the last chapter
you did.
to go.
Mhm.
While we were recording, I looked at it to go.
You did.
She said I missed him saying and this is our reveal. I don't know, whatever it was.
That is exactly what he said. This is our reveal. Ha ha ha.
Plot twist.
Yeah. So, Iron, what did you think of the second part of Water 7, just in general? I know a lot happens, but is there anything that stands out to you or anything that
I think
you want to talk
overall
about
very good.
Okay.
I will
Better or worse than the first part?
Probably worse, but I also feel like a lot of part 2 is setup.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
I
agree.
It's a lot of I like the setup of part 2. I do not necessarily like the payoffs of part 2. Or the
Can
actual,
you
like...
Rick?
So that's
You go.
what payoffs? Because I'm curious about one
I guess
specific one.
payoffs may not be the word. I'm going more the fights.
Okay.
The few that there are not very good.
Yeah, the Sanji one is not
The
great. Like this.
Sanji.
Okay, hold on. The Sanji ramen one is not
Yeah,
great.
no, that's terrible. Sanji before that, super cool.
Incredible,
Sanji
right?
versus that guy.
Best Sanji has been.
Yes, by far.
Correct.
Best by
Thank you.
far. Super cool. But Sanji versus that guy, I didn't learn his name.
Ramen man.
And then
CP7. Wanze.
and now Frankie versus Nero was better, but still not interesting because they both felt like I'm filler villain. Hi, I'm going to be filler and then die.
Mm-hmm. Well, in all fairness, Nero didn't die to Frankie.
No, that's true.
Nero got team killed, man. Lucci said you're too weak and stabbed him through his like back or front
Yeah.
or something with his finger and just ended him and said, "Send a message to the boss that he was too weak. You need all 6 powers, not just 4."
I think I'm gonna disagree with you guys. I like the fights on the sea train.
Oh no, I
I
like
like
the Nero
most
one.
of them.
I like all of
I
them except the Sanji one. Like the Sanji ramen one, to be very clear.
Yeah, the Sanji Ramen one is a tough one, but it's not because of Sanji, it's because the villain is kind of
Completely
lame.
agree. Yeah, Sanji's
Uh,
actually kind of cool in that fight. Like the
yeah, the
him
way he
using the
deals with it.
knives
Yeah.
in a fight where he's not considering it combat but kitchen, I thought was a cool and unique like solution. You
I
know.
love that when we go and we come back to Sanji after the Frankie's fight or something. There's like just plates of spaghetti everywhere because he's been cutting this guy up the
Yeah.
whole time, and they're like 2 tons of spaghetti on these huge plates. I just thought that was funny. I think the sea train. I like the sea train arc. Just I'm gonna call it the sea train arc when
It might as well be, yeah.
Usopp, Luffy. Are we just gonna call him
I
Soga
mean,
King? We should call him Soga King from now
No,
on.
we're not going to
When
call him
Soga
that.
King,
I'm not going to ever call him
we're
that. That was terrible. What a terrible plot point. Drop it. Please stop doing that.
You are gonna regret those
I'm
words
not going to
so
regret those
much.
words.
So much.
I will.
Anyway.
Okay, I think my problem with the sea train stuff on the Sanji Frankie Usopp side is that at the end of the day, we could have cut everything that happened on the train, and like the only significant thing that happened is that they got Usopp back. No important character got taken care of. No character development happened.
I disagree.
I disagree as well. Lucian, you go first. Like, what do you
Well,
think?
I think that one, like, them being able, like, you know, Usopp sitting down and speaking with Robin is a big deal, right?
But it didn't lead
Like the
anywhere.
face to face. That's not true. Like for him to be able to sit down and speak with her, right? At the very end, what it leads to is, you know, him getting beaten down, and the whole like, you know, to me, what was one of my favorite parts, which is towards the very end, but still, since we're talking about, you know, you saying it doesn't lead anywhere, like it's all right, Robin, you're all right. You're still hiding something, aren't you? That's okay. But pirates can't leave their crew without the captain's permission. So Robin, have faith in Luffy, and you know, you can see the look on her face.
Yeah, that was a good page.
She's not allowed to, for her whole life, right? She hasn't been allowed to have that, right? From what we've learned so far. And so you have Usopp telling her like, listen, it's okay. Like you can believe in him. You know?
Usopp, who fought with him and left the crew.
Right, and she still doesn't know
Literally
that.
has no reason to be there at all, right?
Yeah. But she also doesn't know that he's not with them, you know? Like Sanji said, like, listen, she she went with them for you.
Yeah.
She left for all 6 of us. You know?
Hmm.
So regardless of whatever happened with you and Luffy, she left for all of us. um
I don't think it's just great development for Soga King. I'm just gonna keep calling him that. But I think it's really good. It's Sanji has like this
mm,
idealism of like, oh, I'm gonna go save her and it's gonna be great. And then it like she's attacking Soga King. She's like, I'm not running away. And Sanji's confused and he's like, why are you doing this? What's going on? And then CP9 straight up tells him, hey, we know she has this trauma in her past
that
and we're
was
exploiting
awful.
it. And
Yeah.
then he's like, you guys are monsters. And he's like, we're just doing justice. And he gets so upset. Like that episode in the anime is probably like one of my favorite episodes where they're basically a hot potato Nico Robin, right? And just the voice I rewatched the episode when I finished the part 2 Water 7.
Hmm.
It just like kind of I was really confused about that scene a little bit, but then when I watched it, I understood it completely. Just like of I've always been confused about Robin's reluctance to not go with them, despite them literally destroying the entire train to get to her and recruiting their enemy to get to her and fighting off these very powerful people to get to her. And she's still like, no, even if I'm in your arms, even if I could escape. Like she's so traumatized by the what is called the Buster Call. We don't know what it
Hmm.
is
Very cool
yet.
name. Well, I
Oh,
mean,
It's
they
we do.
described
explained
what it
to
is.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
explained
did
it.
describe it to us, but we don't know the full extent of it.
Yeah,
I
we haven't
mean,
Uh,
seen a Buster Call. They
we have
explained a
enough
Buster Call.
context to know how
Yeah,
bad that would be,
right.
yes, that's true. Because we
so
met
it's
Aokiji
understandable.
at the end of Long Ring, Long Ling, Long Land.
Yes, we met
Long.
him so that
I
they
can
could
never say
make
that
this
right.
Hey,
work.
listen, no one can.
No, we met him entirely. I know we would met like
And
there would be some plot reason we met him, and the reason we met him is so that when they say what this is, you can think back to him and know how bad that it would be.
And keep in mind, she said, as soon as I heard Aokiji's name, I gave up.
Yeah.
But I
yeah,
guess for
so
context, we should probably explain like the context of the Buster Call, in
if I
case
could just
someone
give
didn't read.
a
But
point real quick.
yeah, go for
This
it.
and so Sanji's kind of like outlook of positivity of like, oh, I thought ahead. I'm gonna save Robin and we're gonna go back to the crew. Everything's gonna be great. And it didn't work out in the end. And I think that really kind of shaped his character maybe a bit. Also Frankie, like he goes from being an antagonist to being an ally in the
Frankie's
course of
great.
like how many
I'd say
chapters?
I'm
my
glad
favorite
you
part
like
of the
Frankie.
train sequence was Frankie attempting to sacrifice himself so the other three could get away.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That was probably my
I
like
really
favorite moment of that whole thing. Oh no, actually
and I
no. My
really
favorite moment was him revealing he has a fridge in his stomach.
and everybody's like, "Wow, that's really interesting. Like, what if this happened?" And they're like, "Wait, we can't be distracted."
Also pretty cool that like it makes sense because he repaired himself.
I
Only
love.
his front
Wait, I forgot. I
is
forgot the weirdest part. I like his backstory gives no good reason for him to be a cyborg.
yes, it does.
I mean, he got in like it's not like his backstory does not immediately make me go, ah, yes, he will get robotic replacement parts. Like,
Really?
yeah, I mean, I
We'll
figured it
get
would
to that when
be.
we talk about the backstory, I
I would
guess.
figure
But
it would be a
go
much
ahead.
bigger deal. Like the being a cyborg is an intrinsic part of who he is. When it's just he was this guy, and then he got cyborg parts so he could keep doing cool stuff,
Mm,
which is cool.
I
I
And fine.
disagree.
I'm not saying this is bad.
Yeah.
I think for me with the Frankie thing, it's not Frankie changing character development, it's us learning about Frankie's true nature. So we
Mm,
get his backstory when he gets kidnapped, and then now we're like, oh, he has beef with the government, and the person they're headed to is the guy that killed his mentor, right? And
hmm.
then also like we see him again and again like help out the Straw Hats, sacrifice himself for them, and kind of the themes of the arc align with the themes of his character of when Rob Lucci literally just says, "Oh, Nico Robin, her being a criminal for 20 years, that's not even the issue. The issue is that she was born. Like that's the
Yeah,
problem,
yeah.
and we need to deal with that."
Yeah, her
And Sanji's like,
existence
"How
is
could
the issue.
yeah."
Mm.
Sanji's like confused, and Frankie doesn't say anything. But if you remember back to his backstory, his whole thing was like, if I just hadn't made those
Battle
battleships, like nothing
Frankies,
bad
yeah.
would have happened. And then
I'm very excited
And
for.
Tom clocked them.
I'm very excited for
yeah,
Frankie and Nico to interact. Like I want to see.
yeah.
I want to see the
So
two of them talking. I'm sure. She's going to go. But I am evil, right? Ew. Ah. And he's going to go. What's wrong with you? Get a hold of yourself. Let's get out of here.
right, exactly, because he learned that when he was with Tom and his backstory. So
He's.
I think
His.
Frankie's development over the Sea Train arc is for the audience and not and for the Straw Hats
Yeah.
and not for
No,
anybody else.
Frankie's stuff is great. I'm very excited for him to, like the rest of the crew, completely no sell every complaint Robin has about what they're trying to do. Like, yeah,
I
okay,
also
be sad about it. We don't care.
one of the
Bring on
things I
him.
love about um, Frankie
Mhm.
and his interactions with the crew is, and it has to do with Usopp, is that like the crew talks about Usopp and then they start off initially talking like all nice and friendly, then they remember he isn't a part of the crew, and then they try to pretend that they don't know him, or they'll be like, Sanji, where are you, Usopp? Where are you?
Mhm.
You know, like they still are concerned about him, but they try not to let it show. And one of the best scenes of that was, you know, Sanji and Usopp meeting up on the sea train, and they're like, "No, we don't know each other. I hate this guy. We're ex friends." And then he sees Frankie, and he's like, "You beat up our long nose. I'll I'll beat your ass." You know, he starts kicking him and everything. It was great. You know, it shows that like they still care for Usopp, even if they went through a falling out, because they, you know, they're friends, regardless of crew or not. And I really liked all those little scenes that Frankie had a pretty heavy part in due to their initial introduction to him. You know, not the
Yeah,
strongest way to make a good impression.
yeah, I
Here's
would say
another
that.
funny Frankie thing. I rewatched that episode that I was talking about where Robin is like, "I'm leaving" and all that stuff. At the beginning of it, Sanji and Frankie are confronting the CP9 people, and Rob Lucci's giving his spiel about like justice and Robin should die and all that stuff. And behind him, Frankie is just like exercising and stretching out his arms. And at one point, he's squatting. Like he doesn't squat in the manga, like in the anime, he's squatting. He's getting ready for fighting to fight these people.
I think
It's just another thing I really like about Frankie is his spontaneity, I guess. His lack of, seriousness, maybe.
well, I
His
was
calm.
I like that he I've already like this is might be a bit soon, but I have a feeling he's probably gonna end up right in the middle of my list at least or in the ranking of the Straw Hats already. Because I like that his humor doesn't get in the way of anything serious. Like he so far at least he's I mean, and you know what, I'm gonna stop talking because I said the same. I would have said the same stuff about Sanji in his first arc. So let's stop and then we'll come back later.
Fair.
I
I'm
have a
just gonna
question.
cut
Like,
myself
what
off.
did you
Yes.
think about Usopp admitting that he knew the Mary was messed up?
Yeah.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard. That was I just
Okay.
assumed that. I didn't think we were gonna get
Oh,
that
okay.
explicitly stated to us. But I mean, it
What
makes
about
sense.
the whole resolution of how he learned that? So the mystery of who repaired the ship on Skypia. You remember that? It was an incarnation of the Mary
Oh yeah,
itself
that was weird. That
who
was
appeared
weird.
who appeared to repair itself and be able to bring the crew far enough to make it safely to Water 7. Let's forget
Uh
about
huh.
Long Ring Long Land, forget about it.
Don't worry about it.
And Usopp you know,
It went. Ugh,
obviously
I don't want
learned
to be
through
here.
that.
Next
Yeah,
plot,
hell,
guys.
this place doesn't count.
This is not where I'm gonna die. I'm
The
not
Mary
gonna
knew
die on
this
Long
place
Ring
is
Long
filler.
Land.
I'll bring you guys to the next shore. Um, and you know he
What
knew
is it
through
called? A
that.
clobberman? A clobberman? I
I
don't.
won't even try. German fairy thing.
Whatever it is, it's
German sailor
weird.
spirit. Uh,
My God, the Mary is German.
yeah. Wow. I thought it
What
was
a
sheep.
revelation. Well, there are sheep in Germany.
I just mean I thought the Mary itself
That's
was
what the
sheep.
government says, Safley.
It's a German sheep. A German sheep. What's wrong with that?
But he knew the Mary was done for. Galileo was just the confirmation of his worries, and he still left the crew over it.
Yeah.
Does
This
that
is
change your thoughts at all over that, or?
Again, I just kind of assumed this, so no, I still
Mhm.
don't love it.
Don't love what?
I mean, I don't know. Usopp's being stubborn, and I don't see where this is going. I hope it goes somewhere interesting, because right now I'm not interested in it, sadly.
You liked it last
I
part.
did.
Well, why don't you like it this
I
part? What
guess
changed?
nothing changed. That's the problem. I
Well,
don't
you said
like.
you wanted him to go on his own. Is it because he's still with the crew, technically,
I
as
guess.
Soga King?
I guess I'm more. You know what? I should not assume he will not do other stuff. But as of now, he is just doing the same thing. I feel like he needs
I
to.
mean, he pretty much saved Robin, like, technically.
Yeah, he got her out of
He was
there.
the reason they got away. Yeah.
I don't know.
His plan was really smart,
I feel like
going to
he
the
didn't have
front
any
while
development
the...
this chapter or this arc, the second half of this arc, and I was hoping he would get
He's
more.
definitely... He's
We have
definitely
more story to
developing
go though.
Robin's character a little bit more with their interaction, like Lucian said at the start.
Hmm.
With Believe in Luffy, like that line was pretty big coming from him. I think that was a really
He's
important moment.
left the crew at this point,
Yeah.
and he's still telling her to believe in Luffy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
Uh,
I like it. I just like it less than last time, due to not much happening for me.
okay.
Like I guess
Hmm.
Yeah.
any bits of character development he had in this arc, I had already just assumed from what we've been told or
It's fair.
hinted at.
What did you guys think about the Tom's Workers flashback? Personally, I remembered it very well
Very
from the
good.
anime,
Very good.
and I really dug it. So,
Frankie
I like it up.
hopping in front of the train was very cool.
did you catch like what that might be referencing?
No.
Like Frankie jumped in front of the train. Do you remember who else is doing that?
No.
So on the very first chapter of Water 7, Yokozuna jumped in front of the sea train to try to stop it. He has all these scars on his chest. And now towards the end of the arc, now he's done it again, jumping in front of Rocket Man, trying to stop it,
Who?
implying that Yokozuna, the giant frog.
I don't think we got to that part, Lucian.
We
Yeah,
did
we did.
get to the giant frog. I don't remember the giant frog showing up at the beginning of the arc.
He did. He was literally like
Oh.
the first chapter when we meet Kokoro.
No, remember the frog that does the front stroke?
Yeah,
No.
that he tries to
Freestyle?
stop the train. And
I have no
uh,
memory of this.
it
I
happened
guess I
in
wrote
the
it
first
off
chapter.
as funny frog.
No, well, he was trying to do it because he was in the maybe because, but he was sitting in a little boat next to Frankie as Frankie tried to stop the train.
Okay.
So
Did
you
I
know.
see him in the flashback and just ignored his
Yes.
existence?
Yes,
Okay.
it literally on Tom's page where it says, like his introduction, Tom Longhorned Cowfish Fishman, president of Tom's Workers Shipbuilding Company. And right next to him, Yokozuna, Sumo Frog,
Oh yeah,
Tom's
there
pet.
he is. I see him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Ribbit.
he's in a whole lot of panels.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I just wrote it off as comedy frog that I don't have to care about.
No, he has a
Oh
bunch
my
of scars
God.
all on his
Oh,
chest.
well.
He's been jumping in front of that sea train.
Sorry,
How long
comedy
did we
frog.
spend talking about the frog, guys?
No, I just,
I know. No, it's a cool thing connecting the
I feel
frog
bad
to
now.
Tom's Workers to Frankie. it's kind of all connected because at the beginning of the arc, we didn't know that the frog and that Kokoro or Iceberg or Frankie were all connected, but they all
Mm.
come from Tom's workers.
I
That's
didn't
how
know
they
that
all know
after
each
the arc.
other. What?
What?
I'm.
Did you
this-
read the flashback?
I mean, that's I didn't know.
Oh,
I remember
about
the
Yokozuna.
frog. Yeah,
Yeah.
forgot about the frog.
What do you think about why he was being like brought into court the first time? So,
I mean, it was very
Tom
interesting. I like
about
Tom.
Tom building Goldie Rogers' ship, the Oro Jackson.
Makes sense. You gotta have someone. Did we ever? We don't know what happened to the ship, do we? Was that mentioned?
The Oro Jackson?
Yeah.
I don't think we do. No.
Okay. Cool. Good to know. I'm gonna keep that
Pretty
in
crazy.
my thoughts.
How like heavily hunted down people became after after assisting Roger, isn't it? Like building a ship. They even say like
I mean, he was the
typically
pirate king.
any other pirate this wouldn't happen.
Well,
But
okay.
because he's the pirate king.
He was the pirate king, and he also obviously had other big stuff going on, and whatever the One Piece is, and all that. So, and I'm sure what's the highest rank in the government? Because I'm sure whoever that is probably really didn't like Goldie Roger.
I'm not sure
Fleet
if we
Admiral?
know. I mean, we've seen in the Navy it's the Fleet Admiral.
Okay. So we don't know past that, but still, I'm sure
Yeah.
whoever is actually the highest of the government ever, big queen, it's Queen Elizabeth. I'm sure she hated him and doesn't like him.
The five elders. Let's say
Yeah.
the
It's
five
like,
elders
okay.
that we've seen.
Yeah, we have seen them. I just wasn't sure if we put together.
Whatever
But we have
Robin's
seen them a couple
into,
times.
whatever the Robin weapon is, it's not bigger than the One Piece.
Pluton.
Yes, and so if the entire world or the entire government is, hunting down the 8-year-old girl for 8 million, like 8 million reward for this 8-year-old girl.
81 million.
81 million. Oh, I thought it was 8.
She's 8 years old.
And I'm sure also whoever's associated with her is probably also hunted down and interrogated and tortured. So putting that together, combined with how big Goldie Roger was, this makes sense.
Yeah. How far do you think that reached? If you assisted Roger, you'd be hunted down. Like, do you think if you sold Roger like a sword, you'd be hunted down? Like, you know how Zoro has like his 3 swords? Like that shop owner in Logetown. Like, if he had sold Roger his sword, do you think he would be hunted down? Like the equivalent of that? Do you know what I mean? Because is that not similar to what like a shipwright would do?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like
I don't know. I'm
maybe-
just throwing it out there. So Saflame, you can also like obviously have input on this because I don't think any of us really know. But
yet.
I just think it's an interesting. True, exactly. I just think it's an interesting thought. Like we're seeing how far the government is going to hunt down anyone related to Roger at all. How far does that extend? You know.
I think the real question is why are they going this far? I think that's the question we should be asking.
True.
And we don't know the answer to that. And
Yeah.
that's something that Einagar should keep in his head. Little nugget. Speculate about that a lot. Because the fact that they're going after a guy who builds shifts.
Look,
I can't speak today.
Someone is controlling fate. And I don't know who it is. It's probably, what was it? The Will of D? Was that it? That's the phrasing?
that is.
Yeah,
We've
that's what Robin
heard that
said
in reference to people. You know how like it's Goldie, Roger,
yes.
Monkey D, Luffy.
Yep. Luffy's brother.
Portuguese D Ace.
Yeah, Port Gus D Ace, Marshall D Teach. I was scrolling down to my confirmed D names because I didn't want to spoil anyone.
Which one was Teach? I'm trying to remember.
Blackbeard.
Okay, Blackbeard. I'm never gonna remember that.
Oh.
I got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real name. That's a real life pirate name. That's like a guy.
Well, it's close to his real name.
It's similar enough
Teach
to like a
was
real
his
guy.
name. Well, Teach was Blackbeard's actual name. Like that.
Yes.
Teach was his.
I think his name was Edward Teach.
Well, yeah, that's what I
correct.
mean. Like, I'll never remember that though, somehow. But yes, obviously there is the Will of D, and I don't know. I'm still going back to chapter 100 in my head of like there is something supernatural on like a universal level that is happening, and I don't know whose goal it is. My big theory is still that everything that's going to happen in the series is planned out by Goldie Roger.
Mm.
Like, he was like, this is gonna happen and this is gonna happen so that X can happen. I don't know. I don't have enough info. I'm still putting my crazy, the Charlie Day insane person wall of red lines together. I don't have enough info.
Dude, with your theories so far, I feel like you're gonna like nail it. So far, you've
There's
been
already been
pretty
a couple.
consistent. Yeah, there's been a
Ooh.
couple that you've nailed.
Yeah.
So this
Fancy.
this theory that
Fancy.
you're bringing up, I'm like thinking more about it,
Very
and it kind of
excited.
yeah. But back to Water 7.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think my favorite part of this art is the setup. Like we're done speculating about what's wrong with Robin. Remember when
Uh-huh.
Nami is like, she breathes a sigh of relief
Yeah,
when
Yeah.
that
she
was so
discovers that
nice.
Robin didn't actually betray them, because she's like, we're certain now. Now we can go take action. Before, they're like, we don't know how to deal with the situation. Did she betray us? Did she not betray us? All that good stuff. And it's just like, it's true, because the same thing happened with Nami. They kind of like went to the island, didn't really know what to do. Like Luffy slept for half an hour, I think. And then when Nami kind of like got whole her ish together, right? They went and they helped her, right?
Mhm.
So it's very like you can't
Only
help
difference
somebody
is
until you
the
know.
enemy level.
Yes.
Scuffed,
Yes.
scuffed pirate,
Yeah.
compared to world government.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say one of my favorite panels was the one of oh, what's his name? The iceberg's loyal guy, Rye
Ollie.
Paul,
Polly. Okay,
Polly.
P. It's
Yeah,
a P.
sorry.
Um,
Mhm.
where is it? I have it. Right. It's might be gone. I don't think I have it actually. It's there. It is. Found it. The one where at the like bottom half of the page is on the left side is the whole of Water 7 crew with Polly at the front, and on the right is the the four Straw Hats that are there. And it's just a big, do you want to pick a fight with the very heart of the world government? And that page might not be as good if it wasn't for the, you don't have to finish a sentence before they say yes. Obviously they do. Of course.
Yeah.
You know what? Before I forget again, because I forgot completely, I want to bring up the fact that Luffy and Zoro were stuck in a chimney is a dumb plot point. I wish they had done anything else. I don't know what, but something else other than they were stuck in between some walls.
Okay. In all fairness, did it not lead to a really cool moment? Not just like the busting
Yeah.
out, but like the Nami like getting pissed off at Luffy for that.
I will say that yes. I won't like. I'm not
Like
taking.
it
This
led
isn't.
to an emotional
This is
moment of
not a
like
complaint.
stop goofing off.
Yeah, I will not. I will not forget about. Like, no, I will not remember this. This is not a major complaint. This is not even a minor complaint. It's just a little. I read it. I was like, oh, okay. I guess. I don't know what else you would do. I'm not a good writer. I don't know what to do.
I'm like
But
restraining myself because every moment
oh,
that you don't like, I love. I love that
hey,
moment. When they get stuck, it's hilarious, but also, like Lucian said, it led to a very emotional moment. And like they got stuck in there because it's super windy and they're on the top of Water 7, right? They're gonna fly. It's a hurricane. They're going to fly somewhere, and they're either they fall into the ocean, right? Or they get stuck in one of the build because the wave receded. I think the implication was that they fell into the ocean, but the wave receded and then they got stuck where they got stuck. I think that's
Oh,
the
I didn't think about
implication.
that. You're probably right, actually. Because it
Yeah,
did
so
look like they got sent into the water, but I think you're
yes.
right. Aqua Laguna probably carried them into like a building. Yeah.
Huh? And when I don't know if you've watched the movie, it was a movie about this family that got caught in a tsunami. I can't remember the name of it, but it was really good. There's a scene where they show the mother getting hit by the wave, and she's just getting like she has no control. The wave is throwing her back and forth, and there's a bunch of debris, and she's getting cut. Like you can't control yourself when a hurricane wave has you, right? Which is why I
Definitely
really
not if you've
like
eaten a devil fruit.
No, nope.
exactly. So I really like that they just like they're not sure. They don't know what's going on with Robin. They don't know what like Usopp just left the crew. This wave is coming in and they're just like we don't know what we're doing. But the
Sanji's
moment
gone.
Nami comes, Sanji's gone, Usopp's gone, right? And it's just I don't know. The randomness doesn't bother me as much as I guess it would you.
Mhm.
And the goofiness doesn't bother me as much because I guess I grew up with it. But the scene where Nami is like yelling at him is just so such an emotional scene,
Yeah,
and
that
the
was
fact that he
great.
can balance out. I'm
Mm.
talking too much. Go ahead.
No, no, you're good. Go ahead.
It's the Aqua Laguna panel was
Oh, it's so
amazing.
good.
It was awesome.
And
Yeah,
the
It
next
was
two
so cool.
pages after it,
all the shots
where
of
they're
Yeah.
breaking out.
the wave are amazing.
I mean, the whole Luffy stuff was great, but then also Zoro being like, "Yo, do you have my Kitetsu?" And he's like, "Yeah." How do you know? He's like, "Oh, I just know with that sword.
Yeah, yeah, I
There's
like
just
that.
something off.
We're still we're
I
still
feel
gonna
it."
go back to that at some point.
Yeah. He's like, "Thanks for holding on to it. Can you hand it to
Have
me?"
we
And
seen a
then he
single
just,
one of the other like what was it, 13 magical swords or whatever?
We
uh,
have not.
those are like, I think the only one we've seen is Mihawk's.
That's
Um,
yeah. We've seen those
mhm.
two, but other than that, we still haven't seen anything since chapter 100.
Uh, Only Mihawk's.
Okay, good to know.
The Kitetsu is not like one of the highest ranked ones. That Kitetsu.
Hmm.
Um,
Sandai.
yeah, the Sundai Kitetsu. Um, yeah,
I was gonna bring up something, but I forgot.
Luffy busting down and breaking the, house in half, and then
Yeah,
Zoro
it's very good.
cutting the whole house in half, and everyone just being like, "What are these people doing?" That's great.
Very good. Very good stuff.
uh,
I would
and
like
the fact.
you go. You go.
Sorry,
Yeah, I was gonna transition,
I
so you
just
go.
yes, transition. So we find ourselves on top of the wall, and like you said, that scene where Polly's like, you're gonna what's it called, the world governor, the heart of the world governor, you're gonna attack it," and they're like, yes, of course,
Yeah.
duh,
Yeah,
duh.
Why not?
obviously.
Uh, then they're like, there's no way you can do it, but they're like, we're gonna do it, doesn't matter. And then Kokoro's like, everybody, shut up, I got a plan. I'll
Kokoro's the
be,
best.
and we
I
kind
got
it
a
kind
sea
of goes
train
back.
for you.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to the backstory a little bit of how the sea train was made and why Tom made it. Not just because he wanted to get out of going to jail or getting sentenced by the world government, but because he wanted to save the town of Water 7. Like I've never thought about the town's condition when Frankie was a child. I never picked up on that. So when I was reading this, I thought it was really interesting how there was crime and like excessive like nobody has jobs, the market sucks, and because of the Aqua Laguna it makes it hard for traders to trade with people. Like people don't want to travel to Water 7 because of the Aqua Laguna. And
Mhm.
so Tom wants to save the city, and so he makes the puffing Tom, and with the Rocket Man being the prototype, the illegal prototype, right? And I thought that was a really cool idea because I don't think One Piece has ever talked about like the economy of the world. Like I don't think I caught up on that until Lucian mentioned it when we were in Town, and then when we came to Water 7, we discovered that the sea train kind of connects these couple of islands, and that allows it to thrive. And but the good thing about this, the more realistic thing about it, is that even after they built the sea train, people are like, oh, everything's still expensive. Everything sucks. Like, oh, we'll get those guys in the other island to bring down the prices and all this stuff. And the
Yeah, it
shipbuilding's
was not
coming
like
back.
a magical fix at all.
Yeah. it wasn't a magical fix, right? And I
It took
really
time for people to like interact with one another and for like things to stabilize, you know. It felt realistic the way it was handled, which was nice.
yeah. And I just really like that the when Water 7 thrived, the group of Tom's workers kind of died out because Tom died, right? And so
They also just weren't
Kokoro,
needed,
that's
you
true.
know. Like as a
Kokoro
group, they weren't needed.
Kokoro goes into drinking because of what happened. They all think that Frankie's dead, right? Frankie and Tom
Yeah.
are dead. Iceberg has to go. He's like, I have to bring Water 7 out of this rut. Otherwise, Tom's sacrifice doesn't make any sense, right? And so, seeing the Rocket Man and seeing that it's gonna take our crew and everybody else along with it to the world to screw with the world government. Isn't that the best, like, uh I don't want to say any bad words, but like, isn't that the best screw you to
Oh
the world
yeah.
government? I think Kokoro was also thinking like, I want to help because of that, but also because these kids have heart and because I don't want them to die. I just
Well,
wanted
and
to,
I feel like look at the Rocket Man and look at the Sea Train, right?
yeah.
The Sea Train feels very like professional and like it's clearly meant for like a consumer sort of like target.
Consumer friendly.
The Rocket Man looks like it's a Battle Frankie, doesn't it? Like it
Oh,
very
Yeah.
clearly was worked on way more by Frankie than the Sea Train was because it's it's a shark head. The thing can't stop and it just goes. If that's not a Battle Frankie, I don't know what is. Like the thing is a
Really
weapon,
interesting idea.
not a transportation vehicle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really like that.
Yeah, and you could kind of make it so that the Rocket Man is kind of representation of Frankie, and then the Puffing Tom is kind of representation of
Tom and
Iceberg and
Iceberg.
how they
Yeah, yeah,
dealt with their lives and after Tom's death. You know, the Puffing Tom more professional. Iceberg became the mayor. He deals with
yeah.
the government. Like he doesn't like the government, but he deals with them. The Rocket Man literally going to destroy the government, right? Frankie
Yeah.
going to destroy the government, like
Well,
you
and
know.
even more directly, I really liked the motivation for Frankie like demolishing ships. It's that the last ones he built killed his master. But
Yeah.
Tom didn't want Frankie to regret the ships he made. So he doesn't build ships, he demolishes them. And he still wants to build the dream ship. Well, to quote him, I want to build a dream ship to a dream ship that can sail to the ends of the world with pride. So he still has that dream, but he doesn't want to just make a ship that he regrets because he knows that Tom would not approve. You know, he still wants to follow through with his master's guidance. And I don't know, I really like that that's why he demolishes ships now, you know? He's still very capable of building. I mean, he made himself a cyborg uh, with just scrap.
not his back though.
Uh, yeah, you know, can't reach
Uh,
back there.
Weak.
You know.
I love that how that was the explanation. He's like, if I could have
Yeah.
reached it, I could have done all the way around, but I couldn't.
He's like,
It's
how
like,
do I
no,
reach
how
back
did
there?
you put metal in your chin? That's my question.
Meanwhile, his legs can split in half to become centaur legs, but
But he can't
Like
reach
the
around to his
opposite
back.
sense.
but he cannot reach his back.
Frankie is so ridiculous.
I love Frankie, man.
I didn't used to like Frankie. I was
Him being a
very like,
cyborg is so great because it doesn't come with the devil fruit drawbacks, you know?
right.
But sorry, go
Yeah.
ahead.
I didn't like Frankie the first time around. I thought his design was weird. I was like, what? Because I liked Polly. I was like, why didn't Polly join the crew? But every time I read Water 7, like, especially this read through, has been Frankie Stan me. That's what I am.
Yeah, my initial impression of Frankie was negative, but within Water 7, I was like, okay, like, you know.
Iron, what did you think of the backstory overall? Or
I
did you
really
already
liked
talk
it.
about that?
I liked Tom, I like Iceberg, I like Frankie. They're all really good characters. I'm interested to
Yokozuna's his favorite, though.
yeah, uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
My favorite. Old lady did not capture me as a character. She was kind of just quirky old lady. But the other three were really good. I hope to learn more about Tom and his building of the ship one day. yes, good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
Government
then like my
bad.
next.
Wait! I almost
Okay.
forgot. Perfect timing to bring up. The worst designed One Piece character,
Ooh, who?
Spandam.
Yeah, no, he's
Oh
not good.
yeah.
Spandam and his elephant. There's his elephant friend.
You
Spandam is rough.
Why?
guys pronounce it Spandam?
I mean,
And
Spandam.
I pronounce it Spandam. That's how they say in the animes.
Spandam. Okay,
Spandam is
Yeah.
yeah.
funnier to say.
I was
So.
just like regurgitating the way Agro was saying it because I haven't heard it in a while. I shouldn't
Um,
have done that. It's Agro.
Yes, I can't believe Spandam is the. I still can't believe to this day that he's the leader of CP9. I
he
don't
should
get
not be.
that.
All the other ones are cooler. All the other ones are cooler. Like,
He couldn't lead anything, bro. He can't lead his way out of a plastic bag. Like he has no right to lead like the secret military or the secret government organization that is like a rumor and completely off the books.
yeah, he's like the
How
most.
did he
I
get
don't.
that
I have
job?
no idea. I hope there's stuff to him. I'm not. I will see. Next arc. But for now, I go. But you mean that guy that was in 2 pages and failed horribly at his job? Uh,
Hmm.
I guess technically he succeeded in the end, but he failed the first time. Um,
Hmm. Pretty severely.
pretty severely. He's the leader of
Yeah.
all these cool guys.
Pretty
I don't
stupid
know.
decision. I don't know who made that, but
Who could have made that decision? We'll find out next time on One
We
Piece.
just want to talk about One Piece. uh, yeah, Spandam is the like if you took trash, the trash would be better.
yeah.
Okay,
No,
strong
I would
opinion.
feel more
Good. I'm
confident
glad I'm not.
putting him. Yeah, just
Glad I'm
give
not.
Trash the
Going
Buster
against the
Call.
grain with this guy. Cause
Who in the
man,
world was like, let Aokiji, that's who, dumbass. He's like, let's give Spandam a Buster Call. Let's give him special permission to operate a Buster Call. Call in 5 vice admirals, 10 warships to subdue 7 people. Yeah,
Right?
this sounds
I
fair.
What was Aokiji thinking? I don't
I
understand that.
don't
Yeah,
know.
so Spandam is
Robin,
like
Robin,
very.
Robin. That's what he was thinking.
That's true, but it's like I think Spandam is kind of. I think I'll explain it more. My thoughts on him later, but he's kind of a
yeah,
plot hole to me, to be honest. But maybe not. I'll talk about it next time.
yeah. We'll
Uh,
get around to him. I'm sure.
But the Buster Call is
yeah,
pretty interesting. Like, there's
Yeah.
so the only people with the authority to execute it are the 3 Navy admirals and the Fleet Admiral, who stands at the very top of the Navy hierarchy. And I just explained what it was, but I like that. Like, we learned why Robin's so terrified. We mentioned it earlier, but I feel like through past stuff, like we know Robin is like experienced on the sea. Like she's told Nami, different things on how to navigate. Like, hey, there are sky islands, so you need to be careful with like sometimes the needle points up. Like she has a lot of general knowledge about sailing. So it wouldn't be out of the question for her to just know what a buster call is. But no, she experienced a buster call. Like having had one. Having been the lone survivor of one. So even having knowledge of that, uh, she was threatened with one being called in uh, on the first place that she can really call home, since her last one was destroyed. I mean, I'd say that that's
Aaron,
a
I wanted
pretty
to.
fair threat.
Yeah, it is. I wanted to see your thoughts about like Robin. I don't think we've talked about her a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
What
What
are
what do
your?
you think?
I mean,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
Robin's still the best by far. I don't think there's too much to talk about that we didn't talk about last time. To be
Really?
honest.
Do you agree with her
Okay.
not coming back? Do you disagree
Well,
with like
obviously she
like?
should come back, and obviously all
But like,
all 7 others think, hey, get over here. What's wrong with you? Let's fight the 10 admiral fleets, whatever. But obviously she has good reason for doing everything she does.
mhm.
Okay.
Like
I think
I understand her situation and her adamancy on not wanting to come back. Like at sometimes other people, like other characters have been stubborn about something. Like, oh come on, just like get with the program. Let's go. We can beat the bad guy or whatever. This time it's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
right.
It'd be lucky
So
to
you think
beat
it's
one of
justified?
them, let alone the 5.
Yeah, this is really cool.
But I still, again, still the best character. There's
It
no
was
other
hinted at
characters. It really
last part, Robin's dream. Like she started to say, like, I can't achieve my dreams with being with you, and then she dipped. Um, did you expect her dream to be what it was, which was, you know, the other Straw Hats to safely escape from the island, even at the cost of her own life? Like, what did you think of that?
I mean, I assumed whatever she was doing, she thought was best for everyone. I didn't think it would be
Oh.
explicitly that she is choosing the Straw Hats over the possibility of her dream. I didn't think that. Like, I figured they were one and the same. Does that make sense?
Mm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I did assume she was, I never once thought she was betraying them in any way whatsoever.
Yeah. Right.
Whatever she was doing, obviously thought was for the best.
I mean, I guess when we are introduced, not introduced to her, but like maybe like introduced to her as like a crew member, she does kind of say like, I intended to die, and I didn't think my dream was ever really going to come true. So this is your responsibility now, because my dream was dead anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's on you at this point, saying that to Luffy,
Yeah.
right? Like she had fully given up on learning anything more about the
Yeah,
world's
exactly.
history or the poneglyphs. So I think it does make sense for her to sort of give that up, since she already did. And then the Straw Hats sort of gave it back to her, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't toss that away just yet. Yeah, keep that around. Stay with us."
Yes. Still the best character. No other character's gonna be that good.
Yeah, she talking to Iceberg. She's like, let me find the quote here because it's just that good. Um, uh, and for that you'll awaken a deadly weapon. Don't you care what happens to the world? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
The world didn't do anything
No.
for her.
end
I
the world for the
Those
sake of
6
my
people.
6 friends.
Yeah. No. I love that type of character. I love that type of character. Who cares about the rest of them?
Yeah.
These people matter.
Yeah, these 6 people matter more than all the faceless people in the world.
Yep.
That
True.
that's what made Iceberg start helping the Straw Hats too,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because
Yeah.
Kokoro is going into the train station expecting it not to be running and not to be whatever, and it's already ready to get going, and Iceberg steps out of it, and he's like, you like that determination. Also, he has a stake in it too, with Frankie being kidnapped and the blueprints and Tom and all that stuff. But not just that, but Robin's determination to protect them and their determination to get her back. It's
Yeah.
like he recognizes that and he wants to have a hand in it so that the government doesn't screw him over for a second time, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I want
And
to
think
say
about
about
it, too.
Iceberg. I forgot to mention when we were talking about the flashback is that I like that they gave him a good reason for the question I had of why not just burn them. Like he has a very
Yeah, it's like a failsafe.
why not just get rid of him, and then you don't have to worry about it ever. But no, he is like a legitimately very good emotional, personal reason why he wouldn't do that.
But it's also a
enjoyed that.
failsafe in case Robin awakens the weapon for the government, right? So that the forces of good can have something against the government. They can build
Right.
it as well.
Ah,
Yeah, you're
I
right.
see.
The multiple reasons.
If they build nukes, we have to know how to build nukes.
Yes.
What beats nukes? More nukes.
That's how you win.
I did really like that scene between her and Iceberg, though. Like you were
Yeah, it
saying,
was very
like
good.
she changed Iceberg's mind. Think about the fact that Iceberg has been building her up in his mind as a world-ending threat for over a
Yeah.
decade. He has a wanted poster of her 8-year-old like portrait up on his like bedroom wall for like the last however many years.
Oh my god, it
Like,
is his bedroom wall. That is
yeah,
creepy.
yeah, no, agreed. But it's like a daily reminder, like, I need to be careful of. She is like a devil. She is the number one threat to the world's existence. And I need to be careful of her. Tom told me to be careful of her. And after talking to her, he allowed himself to, like, listen, which should be credited. I mean, I think a lot of people, after that long of building up in your mind like so much negative stigma around a person, you'd have a hard time getting past it. But he was willing to listen, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a big part was she was not trying to convince him.
No,
That's why
she's
I
just
think
like,
that's
yeah,
why
I
it
will
works.
end the world
Yeah.
for my friends, just to be very clear. I do not care about it.
Yeah, and then that scene where they what's it called? They're getting ready after Sanji gives Nami the letter and the Denden Mushi
Mhm.
through that really obvious note. She's like, "Where'd you find this?" And he painted the whole wall.
There
Uh,
for Nami.
I love how on the side it said, "Anybody else who touches this is dead."
Yeah, I'll kill you.
And then half of the letter is just a love letter, and she skips
She's
that
like, this is
part.
all useless, worthless, trash, blah, 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 blah.
No, and then she tells those two station masters to get the meat and the alcohol, and
Hmm.
then like everybody's getting, like you said, it's a setup chapter. Everybody's getting ready. The Frankie family come in and they beg Luffy to come with him because they want to get Frankie back.
And now he's like, no. And he's like, yeah, of course, hop on.
And then when they're on the train, the three people from the Galilea company are there, and they're like, "Woo, what a close call. We got on the train and all that stuff." And they're like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" It's just that the scenes on the Rocket Man are fun. They're
They
kind of
are.
like fun
I've
in
enjoyed them so far.
introspects to
Yeah.
the to what's happening on the Puffing Tom. And then there's that scene where Polly is like, you guys probably already know, but I'm gonna tell you too who the real traitors are. And their faces go like
Yeah,
the
it was good.
description for
Yeah.
the episode you put on Long Ring Longland. Long their faces, they're so shocked, which is
Yeah.
hilarious. I couldn't even, and I really like that panel where Luffy is like, the Straw Hats, the Galilea Company, and the Frankie family, we're gonna put our differences aside because they've been fighting all of Water 7. They've been fighting. We're gonna put our differences aside and we're gonna storm the world government because we all have different goals and we
Yeah.
all have different things. So, like for the Galileas, they want explanations from Kaku and them, and then for the Frankie family, they want to get Frankie back. For Straw Hats, they want to get Robin back, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
And also maybe the Galileas are like helping just because of Iceberg and his
Yeah,
situation
I think
too.
so. Like, they
Uh,
probably feel bad for having, like, hunted down the Straw Hats and all that. Not so much that they take on the entire world government, but, you know, enough that that probably factors in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure.
and I
I'm
just
sure a lot of them don't realize exactly how big the thing they're getting into is.
I think they do more than the Straw Hats do.
No,
I
I think the
agree.
Straw Hats know they don't care.
I disagree.
I
I think some of them do. I would bet like
Okay, yeah,
Nami
fair.
and
Nami,
maybe Sanji
Nami's,
probably like understand.
Nami,
And
Zoro,
like
Sanji,
I wouldn't even say like Zoro might
Zoro.
not.
But yeah, but Zoro has what was his name? Hawkeye. Like he is obviously a very important person is in his arc and story. He knows how big a deal it is. Like no
The
part
thing
of
with
Zoro would ever like underestimate that.
the really
I see.
interesting
Yeah, he is
thing,
a warlord, so he is under the employ of the world government. I see what you mean.
the really interesting thing with Zoro this arc, when I reread it and rewatched it, was when he faced T-Bone. When he cut the the sea train in half, that was awesome.
Hmm.
And then when he faced T-Bone, and T-Bone gets defeated, right? It was a really cool panel the way he defeated him.
Mm.
And he's on the side of the sea train and he's looking back at T-Bone and he's like, the fact that you ran through a storm is crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
give props to you. I don't think Zoro's ever done that to a villain before, but or an antagonist. But then he says, I'm paraphrasing, we have something we need to get back to, like something more important than your
I
justice.
Right.
I think the thing is with them
I
with the
did
Straw
not.
Hats is that like it doesn't matter how big it is. They like saying it's
Mhm.
what is the thing called?
World government.
No, the specific
Buster
thing,
call.
the Buster Call. Saying it's a
Oh.
Buster Call, they wouldn't care if it's that versus saying literally every ship in the entire world government is going to come to this location to get the 7 of you. They wouldn't
Well,
care
yeah,
because this is that important to them. That they'd be willing to, it doesn't
definitely
matter if they
because
know they lose. They were still going to try.
yeah. Keep in mind, Robin was threatened with a Buster Call. But we did get some information about where they are all going, which is
Yes,
the
Ennis
Nightless Island,
Lobby.
Ennius Lobby,
Ennius, like it's
and
Ennius. Got it. I don't know how
Ennies
to
Lobby,
remember him.
Sathlam?
I would assumed Ennis.
It's in the anime. It's Ennius Lobby or
Ennius
Ennis
Lobby?
Lobby.
Ennis Lobby?
Either or, I believe.
Okay. But just
I
being
call it
taken
Ennis
there,
Lobby.
Ennis? Okay. Just being taken there is considered proof of your guilt. No one's in the courthouse or anything. It's just a gigantic steel door known as the Gates of Justice. And once a criminal passes through, they're never seen again. There are 2 destinations past the Gates of Justice, and it's Navy HQ and the great underwater prison known as Impel Down. So they're not just like worried about a Buster Call anymore. They're going to the Gates of Justice.
Yes. Navy headquarters, not a good arc name. Impel Down, good arc name. That's where we're going.
Ooh.
Yep. That's my entire reason, and I'm
You did
100% correct.
For who?
You did have a
What?
prediction like a couple episodes ago where you said you said there could be a prison escape arc and I wouldn't be surprised.
A prison escape arc makes sense. Yes. We have to get to
So
prison first.
we know
but-
that this next arc is Ennis Lobby.
Yes.
So who are we saving from Impel Down?
I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe we're not
Wasn't
going there
sure
now.
if,
Impel Down is too good of an arc name. We gotta go there. We didn't name
Okay.
that Navy headquarters. We're not going there anytime soon.
Mm.
Calling it now. Probably. Maybe the groups will split up. That would make the most sense, to be honest.
What did you guys think of the Aqua Laguna punch slash slice?
This is very fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit a wave. It's cool.
More than anything, sort of in combination of everything we've been talking about, this is like the strongest we've ever seen Zoro in combat, right? He's cut a building in half, cut 2 train cars in half, combined with Luffy to, instead of, hey, what's double 108? That's 216. That's a mouthful. Let's just do 300 pounds. All right, yeah, sounds good. 300-pound cannon.
The exact name. The best. They actually talked about it. I can't believe they talked about it.
It's so
Like,
good. I love it because it's like, well, it's Gum Gum Cannon and 300-pound cannon, so bang. And like he cuts a path through water with Luffy. I mean, and then defeats T-Bone in a single attack. Like Zoro is carrying the Rocket Man, like on his back. Like there's an obstacle. Luffy's like, Zoro, cut it. Like he's by far the strongest he's ever been. He's cutting through like 2 train cars with 1 attack.
Yeah, specifically. I've been thinking. I hope we get a Zoro centric, like every arc has their front characters. Like this arcs is other than the new characters of the Straw Hats. Every arc has their front Straw Hats, and this arc is Usopp and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone else is taking, everyone is still important. This is probably the best at making sure everyone's still important. But those 2 are up at the forefront. I want a Zoro forefront because it's been a while.
Mm.
I cannot think of the last one, to be honest. I don't think we've had one in the Grand Line where Zoro was like,
Whiskey Peak.
oh, Whiskey Peak. You're right.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the last time Zoro was the prominent Straw Hat, and that's fine. He's a very good secondary character. Just I'm hoping soon. He's had enough power ups. I think we deserve a little Zoro time,
I agree.
or a little Zolo
Same.
time, as they say.
Oh,
Yeah.
shut up! Shut up! I will overthrow you.
The guys keep mentioning Usopp, but he left halfway through the train. I don't know.
Yeah, no, Soga
why
King's
he
pretty dope
mentioned-
too.
I hate
Yeah.
you all.
I don't know. I'm fine with Usopp
I'm
leaving and Soga King staying,
I'm
man.
not at
Usopp
like
sucked anyway.
the only reason I'm not actually upset
Soga
about
King
that
isn't
is
a
because
liar.
both Frankie and Sanji no sell him immediately. Like he's like you're gonna ask what the deal with
And Robin.
and Robin. She doesn't even know. She just thinks he's wearing a mask for some reason.
Yeah, well, keep in mind she calls everyone but Luffy a nickname.
Yeah, I know. I
Uh,
was very nice when she called him a big nose man or whatever.
Yeah, long
One
nose
thing
coon.
I was just trying to remember where what's his name was from. What island is it? Sniper Island.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot to mention. I forget who it is, to be honest. But some character is from the land of Karate Island, an actual
Yeah, it's the
location.
ramen guy.
But he's a
The
boxer.
ramen guy.
No,
That's
it's not the
Wanze.
ramen
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, from
It's not the
Karate
Oh wait, no,
Island.
sorry, it's not
Was
Wanze.
it?
It's the super tall guy, isn't
The
it?
super tall guy when Sanji first.
Yeah, who like
Oh, the
attacks
front-
through his
yes,
legs.
you're right. That one, the one who's, yeah, in the back of the back car. Yeah,
What
from,
was-
That was a
from
funny joke.
Karate Island.
But he's a boxer. I thought that was a funny joke.
His name is Jerry.
No?
His name is Jerry. His name is Jerry. I repeat, his name is Jerry. He's part of CP6 from Karate Island.
Yeah.
Iconic character.
The Sea Train stuff is just so goofy. Like I feel like you need that after all the serious stuff that's happening with Water 7. I think maybe that's why the villains are so lame on the Sea Train. T-Bone was pretty cool though, but he was funny. Like T-Bone is a good balance of like goofy but serious at the same time. I feel like
Yeah, he was
if the
fine.
other villains were like that, it would have been a little bit
I
better.
think for me, it's just specifically the solo Sanji versus Guy and Frankie versus Nero. That are the problem with the
Guys, you
train.
know who we forgot to talk about?
Oh, what? Let's hear it.
What?
Chimney and Gombe.
Yeah, they're on the train.
Who?
They are Kokoro's
names.
granddaughter and her rabbit cat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're going to Annie's lobby.
yeah, they're there.
I mean,
They exist.
not safe for children?
Perhaps. Fine. I think they've been through worse, probably.
All right.
She calls them like Big Brother pirate or Big
The
Sister
two of
pirate.
them look like they're gonna walk into the next panel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they're those kind of characters, which is fine.
Yeah.
You need those from time to time. They look like they're actually
they
going
fit
to
very well in One Piece.
literally jump into the next panel.
Yeah. I really like their crazy design.
Yeah,
It's kind of funny.
they're crazy people
They're
with
both,
the
like
crazy
they both
designs.
have the
They're
same
fun.
face. And then the grandma, the Kokoro, she's not even like driving the sea train, and she's like, "Yep, this is it. Like it's just speed on. Like we can't stop ever." And then Chimney and Gombe are like, "Wait, us too?" And she's like, "I told you to stay." And they're like, they're still smiling though. They can't not smile. It's so weird.
I love
Yeah.
there's one little joke with like Nami showing off her new perfected climate baton. She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we got back from
Uh-huh,
Sky
that was a
Island and
good bit.
Usopp made it with a dial to make it stronger." And Zora's like, "Oh, he did, huh? Usopp's and Nami and Luffy both get super depressed. They're like, "Yeah, his final work."
Yeah, it was probably my favorite joke on the of the arc, or that one. And I also I found it funny when it was just suddenly noise. Nami looks into her shirt. It's ringing. The baby train sponsors failed.
Where else is she gonna put it? She doesn't have pockets.
Fair.
It's like Luffy. He can't stick enough meat in his pockets because they're too small now.
And the fridge. There were some good comedy bits this arc.
Oh god, what do you think of their new outfits?
Yeah, Nami changed right in front of everyone.
Yeah.
She's
And
like,
then
"Where else am I
Polly
gonna
did his,
change?"
I'm the opposite of Sanji, and it's still not funny. Somehow.
I mean, it's better than Sanji though.
Yeah, it is a little bit, but only because he's not a main character. Eventually, if
Fair. Would get very old very quick.
If that was as common of a joke as Sanji, the other
Agreed.
side of it, it would be just as annoying. But
Mhm.
it's fine for, the character who's in one arc or two. I guess he'll be in 2 arcs, really. It's fine for as a couple jokes here and there. Her outfit was okay. Zoro's outfit good, and Luffy looks the same because he's Luffy.
He's
Yeah, his
got
pants
black
colors
pants
just
on.
kind of
Luffy's
change.
not allowed to change outfits.
With
He's too
with
iconic.
pockets. There's pockets now. You can put meat
Wow.
in his pants. I don't think we've seen Chopper's new design either.
He is there in the he's in the corner of the panel where they all reveal their outfits. Like literally the very tiny little corner. I'm looking at it right now.
So Chopper is wearing a coat
Chopper
that
was
is.
with them, to be honest, because he's done nothing in a while.
He got
Well,
Nami out of the
He
fire.
saved Iceberg and Polly from the fire, and Zoro's sword.
He did stuff.
Oh, he didn't get Nami out of the fire. He got the other two out of the
He
fire,
didn't really do
and then
much,
did
which is
doctor
fine.
stuff on Nami.
Again, every arc is going to have their people where they are important, and then less so. You got to rotate that out, keep things interesting. That's what I wanted to say earlier. Is that I'm very interested to see. I want to see what Robin is like after her story is over. Like after we've had multiple arcs in a row where she's the most prominent Straw Hat character. I'm curious to see what it'll be like after.
Yeah.
Because everyone has their shtick they do when they're not having their current super important story arc. So I'm interested to see
like everyone sort of acclimates to the crew.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Robin's place will be afterwards.
Right.
But sorry, you were saying something.
So, I was gonna say that I like Chopper's outfit the most because his outfit is a red leather jacket that's basically a carbon copy of Robin's black leather jacket. It has the same buttons on the top, and is interesting because they're the ones who entered the city together. So maybe when they came to the city, they bought like matching jackets. Is what I like to
that's
think.
cute.
So, but his is just
They did go
bright
shopping
red.
together.
They did.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah,
I
so I like Chopper's no, Zoro's is my favorite. Zoro's the yellow and the green just complements perfectly. And I like Sanji's outfit too on the sea train. I always like Sanji's outfits. They're classy.
I did really like Sanji's like general stuff he did in this part. Like just doing infiltration, taking down the train car after train car with like Cypher Pole members
Sanji
like by
has some good
himself
stuff
for a while. And then my favorite part of everything with him was his interaction with Luffy and Zoro on like the snail, like the Dendenmushi.
Yeah, that was really
like,
good.
Sanji's like, listen, I'm gonna bust up the whole place after he hears Robin's reason for leaving, and Luffy's like, yeah, go ahead. And Zoro's like, whoa, hold on, like we shouldn't be busting up the whole place. Like we should be, taking it slow until we get there. And Luffy's like, no, I wouldn't be able to stop you if you were in his situation, would I? So obviously I'm gonna let him go. And Sanji's like, well, good, because I'd disobey your orders anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I think my
I really
favorite
like that.
Sanji
Like Luffy
line-
gets his crew,
Yeah. I think my favorite Sanji line is when when Chopper is remembering like what Sanji told him to do when he went back. He's like, where are you gonna go? And then he says, a man always forgives a woman's lies, and he goes after Robin. I was like, such a badass lie. Like, yeah, he's a simp, but like, you see men like that today.
No, I'm okay with that.
No, just like the gentlemanly aspect of that. Like he knows
Is it
she's
gentlemanly?
lying.
Is it? I don't know.
Just
Doesn't
that
come off
line.
that way to me personally.
Forget the rest of his character.
I know.
Forget it for 2 seconds.
I know it's a joke, and it's and the thing is, I can like this in some stuff. There's specifically, I will go to this obscure game AI the Somnium Files, where this is pretty much just the main character's shtick.
Bad there
but
too.
I find it very funny in that for some reason. It works there. I don't know what it is, to be honest. I think he's even more creepy about it, but in a funny way. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I'm just saying, for some reason it doesn't work for me here, but it does in other stuff. I don't know where I'm going with this. Please, someone pick up from where I'm
That
saying.
line, that line was just really cool to me. I forgot he said that. So, like the fact
I
that
liked his
Sanji was the
determination about
only
it.
one that was like, Robin is still on our side. Like he didn't waver in that fact.
I don't.
No, Luffy
No,
didn't
Luffy
either.
didn't. Luffy didn't.
That's true. Yes, yes, that's true. But everybody
I'm
else
gonna
was like,
defend Luffy
"What's
for
going
once.
on?"
For once,
Even
one time.
Chopper, even
This
Chopper
is
was
very
like,
refreshing.
That was the best
even
part
Chopper
of
was
this
like,
arc,
"Wait,
or one of them.
Robin doesn't hate us. Like
Uh-huh.
he thought she like
He had
hated
He's
them."
just
doubts.
And
All
so.
the rest of them
Well,
had
think of
doubts.
it, right?
I guess
I
Usopp
guess.
technically never thought anything else, but he didn't really have time to think about it.
All fairness, Chopper has so much trauma from like everyone hating him.
Yeah,
You know,
like it's
like
understandable.
he only had like the doctor. I forget like his name, and then Kureha.
Doctor Kureha and Hiruluku.
Hiruluk. Yeah,
There you
Hiruluk.
go.
Thank you.
I can't pronounce anything today.
Same.
Well, I mean, that was just the Japanese pronunciation you did, which is also fine.
I understand is what I'm trying to say. I understand why each of them had doubts. Zoro always had his doubts. Like he never fully trusted her. And Nami, Chopper, the rest of them, I understand completely why they even thought about maybe not. Like maybe she did actually betray us. But I do like that Luffy and Sanji never second guessed it. Like obviously she didn't. She's a crew member.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that just ties into the end where I like how Sanji is kind of shocked that she won't go with them, you know? Like even though Luffy and Sanji believe that she didn't do it for bad reasons, and that's true, she didn't do it for bad reasons, she's still like, I can't go with you guys. And that kind of, and then I like that development for Sanji specifically. Because it's kind of delved into a little bit later, but like he loses. And like him and Usopp, so sorry, him and Soga King and Frankie, they lose the fight on the sea train, just like Luffy and Zoro and Nami lost in Water 7 against CP9 and all that stuff. So this is a proper loss for the Straw Hats. They couldn't get Robin back in time. They didn't resolve that issue with Usopp. And but like they're still gonna go back and get her. Like there's still time, right? But
They're still on the train,
lost.
yeah. Like it has now become, are we all going to enter Ennis Lobby? I'm curious to see which secondary characters stay with them and which ones do not, if anyone goes back. I assume the train people will not, in fact, help out from there. Beyond,
How will they escape then?
they'll worry about that later.
Okay.
For now, it's we got to break into the biggest, top secret government organization facility in the world, or at least up there.
No, they're basically breaking into the Supreme Court of this world.
It's
Except there's no court.
The max
It's just
security
you're
prison,
guilty.
and the max security
Yeah.
prison.
It's
Both.
Japan's Supreme Court, so you're automatically guilty, unless you're in the Navy, in which case you just go to HQ.
Right.
But either way, I think it'll be interesting to see them do it.
Are there any I feel like we're kind of wrapping up here, but are there
Yeah.
any predictions for what's gonna happen next?
Predictions. Let's see. The thing is, if there was only one option, I feel like I'd be able to guess better. But I don't know how long Ennis Lobby is going to be versus the other two places, because Ennis Lobby could also contain those other two places. I also, it's not, Ennis is not the right word, it's Ennius, right?
Ennis Lobby leads to the other two places. Ennis Lobby
That's
has
what
the
I'm
Gates
saying.
of Justice, which leads to those two.
Yes, but
Ennis Lobby arc is Ennis Lobby. You know how Water 7 is Water 7, right? Just to, like,
yeah.
I don't think this is a spoiler, but the way Viz categorizes arcs is, and we mentioned this before, like, it is the island it takes place on. So that's why like Water 7 and Ennis Lobby are separate. So if it was a different arc, if they went to those places, they'd be categorized as different arcs.
I assume they were part of one big island or something, like a chain of islands or something.
They said that
like
there is a port that leads to those two places inside of the Gates of Justice. They mentioned that in the chapters.
Okay.
So
then
the
I'll have to
Ennius
think about
Lobby
that.
arc is 56 chapters, starting
What?
at 375 and ending at 430.
We told you it was as long as Water 7.
Yeah, you did. It's still, when you say it like that. I don't know. Honestly, you know what? I don't know. I give up on short-term guesses. We'll see.
Okay.
We will.
Me
we
and
will
Lucian
find
haven't
out.
discussed.
Usopp will, probably join
Who's
back up with
Usopp?
the crew.
Yeah, Soga King is with the crew right now.
Okay, I am quitting the
Stop
crew
him.
officially. Podcast crew. It's been good, guys.
He'll be replaced with, you know, a Soga King equivalent next week.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. How do you know?
I think we need a better captain.
Yes. Aggro Iron.
I just come in. I do a Christian Bale Batman voice the whole podcast.
Where's the money?
Where's Robin?
That was actually really good.
And relevant.
Oh yeah, I do not have any short-term theories. I have many insane long-term theories, but none of that have developed this arc. None have developed this arc, so I won't spout them off again. Next time, maybe.
I'm like super excited
In the
to
words
read
of
this next part.
In the words
Same.
of Terrence Howard in Iron Man 1, next time, baby.
In the words of Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2,
Ooh.
I'm here, deal with it.
Don Cheadle, good. Shout out to John Cheadle, just in general.
No, I'm super excited for this next part because this is like probably my favorite arc in the whole series.
Oh, fun.
Depending on my mood, but this is like probably the best. I don't want to say anything else because I don't want to spoil. Just thinking about, I'm so excited to see because apparently this was when One Piece was starting to get more and more popular in this arc specifically. Like a lot of people caught up to One Piece in this arc, like from the community, and it was a good time to be a One Piece fan. I was never there. I was never a part of that community in that time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never read this section of the story, like I keep saying. I only started reading after the time skip. So I'm really excited to see, and the art has been great so far. Like the Aqua Laguna, that stuff's amazing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And the punch, when Frankie punched Nero, that final punch was really good.
That's so
too.
good. He's like, you haven't taken any of my hits yet, bud.
Yeah, and just like the Soru and Zoro slicing the cart, like the art's been amazing so far, and I'm just so excited to see how this is done in the original material in Oda's mind. The anime took liberties, which were good. Like, yeah, I still prefer the anime to the manga so far, but the art has been stellar, and I'm just gushing. I'm super excited. Go ahead, somebody else.
No, I'm very excited as well.
What chapters what chapters will we be reading?
We have to discuss that.
I think
I think I was just gonna cut it in half though, cause
Yeah, I think that you have. But yeah, we can figure that out before the next one.
Yeah.
That's fine.
What, do we want to do all 54 one episode? Let's go.
56.
656 super episode.
We talk about it for like 7 hours. Like, no.
Let's go.
Or just skip out on a bunch of stuff that we would have talked
put on
about.
the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings extended edition on the background. Erase the clock.
Right. I haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
I know. I have. You watched The Hobbit though.
Yes, I
And shout
have.
out
The
to
Hobbit trilogy.
Saflam. We'll fix that one day. We're gonna fix that. Don't worry. But yes.
I know what Lucian is most excited about.
Yeah, the thing that anyone who has read this is also most excited about?
I don't know what I'm most excited about, to be honest. I'm just ready. I'm like so ready. I haven't delved into this part of the story in a really long time, so I'm really excited to get into it. But of course, that part that you're excited about, of course, I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
Nope, we are almost there.
Yeah, guys, we got to Enni's lobby. I can't even. If we finish the podcast, if we never did another episode after this, I would be fine. I would be fine with it. Seriously, this
No,
is
after
literally
But
like
there's
this,
so
after
many
this
more.
one specifically, right before Ennius Lobby, obviously. What do you mean?
No, but like I try to get people to read One Piece or watch it at least, you know? And they're just like, it's too long, it's too like this, like excuse after excuse. And I'm just like, if you just got to this arc, you know? And this arc is the one
If
that
you
makes you a
just got
lifetime
Just get to
fan.
350
450,
chapters
bro.
in, let's go. I say
Hey,
as I
there's 1,000, but listen, there's 1,000 chapters. We're only at 350. We're only at 350. Think
374.
about it.
It will be at
Think about it.
430 by the end of
that's
Enni's lobby.
actually pretty far. Yeah, like
Yes.
we're getting close.
We're getting
Mm-hmm.
pretty close to 500, yeah. But
Yeah, wow.
it's still like, but Iron, I want to hear your opinion, and hopefully we'll
Okay.
get to do an
What is
episode
my
where we talk
opinion?
more about this, about like these excuses that like it's too long.
It's understandable.
It's
I actually agree.
Like
I don't think it's an
it's
excuse. I think it's
it
reasonable.
being long is
It is
good. It being
extraordinarily
long is
long.
what makes it good, but therefore
It makes it incredibly hard to get
it's
into.
understandable why people can't get into it. My second favorite video game. We'll think about it. One of my favorite video games is Final Fantasy 14. And that game, if you want to catch up to current content and you take your time, you know, you're not speeding through. You're not doing all the side content. You're just playing casually. Gonna take you like 500 hours to catch up, and I would recommend it to every human being. But when I tell you play Final Fantasy 14, it'll only take you 500 hours. I bet you get kind of apprehensive about this.
yeah, I
And
guess
it gets
it's
good
just
after 100.
It does. It does get good after 100. More like 30.
It's
50.
awful before
But
that.
it's not. You're wrong. But we'll talk about that in a different podcast. Wink, wink,
Was
wink, wink,
it
wink.
wink wink nudge nudge. Was it easier for you to get into One Piece because of the podcast
Absolutely.
and
That's
just like
why I
talking
wanted to
about
do
with
it.
us?
That's a big
Do you
reason
know
why I
how many
wanted to do
times
it.
I told him
He
to
has
read One
tried to
Piece
get me to
before the
watch One Piece
podcast?
so many times. I've tried to start One Piece so many times.
In all fairness, it's easier to get him to like read it than watch it because obviously
Yes,
that's
Yeah.
way less of a
I
time
would
commitment,
never would have watched it ever.
which is fair.
I probably still will never watch it. I'll go back and watch episodes or moments, but I will. There's a 99% chance I will never go back and watch 1,000 episodes. That is
Yeah, I
so
would agree
much
with that.
time.
Yeah,
That is
times
like
that by about 22 minutes, and
500
then
hours.
22,000
It's
minutes.
almost as long as Final
500
Fantasy
hours he
14.
spent.
Almost.
The thing that I would say is because the anime is better in this section of the story, I would highly recommend. Like after we read this, if you get the time, if you have the time, I would
I'm not
watch
looking up
Water
anything.
7,
I'm gonna
Enies
wait till
Lobby.
we're caught up to do that because I don't want to be
Okay.
spoiled by
Right,
me
right.
looking up something and then YouTube goes, "Ah, you've looked up something. Obviously, you want to see all of it. You want all the
Yeah.
spoilers on your recommended page today. You also want advertisements for One Piece. Did you know? Here, I'm gonna mention. What am I gonna mention? IHOP. There, I've said it. I've said a thing. I will report back to you in a week. See many IHOP ads I've seen.
Well, we've been recording a One Piece
Yum.
podcast for a
I
while,
want
and you haven't
IHOP.
gotten One Piece ads yet, have you?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
on Twitter.
Yeah, the AI is
specifically,
listening to all of us.
the
Lucian, you
ads.
didn't know. Every time I think about pizza, I get an ad about pizza. It scares me sometimes.
Algorithm is working.
What?
Okay. I'm just glad we got to Enya's lobby. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's a great
because,
arc.
But it is time. Even though it doesn't really feel like it, we've finished an arc.
Oh no.
Who's got to rank it?
Why? Well, it's easy. It's top.
It's kind of no.
What?
And where is it?
It's number 2. It's not as good as Alabasta.
Is that even number 1?
It's not number. Is it not number 1?
I don't think so. Is it?
Sapphire.
Maybe it currently
Let us
is.
hear the current rankings. Because I don't have the thing pulled up. Does anyone have the thing pulled up?
Oh, it currently is, I guess.
Yes.
I do not have it pulled up. I could pull it up.
I would put it
Lucian?
number 1 as well.
Lucian, what are our top 3?
Personally?
Do you have
Alabasta,
does anyone have the list
Skypia,
up?
Arlong. My personal top 3 are Alabasta, Skypia, Arlong. Unless the... Hold on. Yeah. But I would definitely put this above Alabasta.
I absolutely would not.
Would I
It's
put
good.
mine on top of Skypia? Would I put Water 7 on top of Skypia?
What did we name the
would.
doc?
Rank?
It's a spreadsheet.
It's an Excel spreadsheet.
Uh-huh.
Well, like a Google spreadsheet. But yeah.
I made it so that the top 2 rankings are
aha.
empty.
I found it. Thank you. Yes, personally, I would put it at number 2, right below Alabasta and right above Skypia.
It's a really interesting. That's a really interesting place.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just because of the clunky stuff later with the sea train.
Just a couple clunky things here and there. It's again, and
Okay.
also I really, really, really like Alabasta.
Right.
It
Yeah,
has
definitely my number 1.
We have not had a moment that has topped them saying goodbye to Vivi yet.
That's fair. I can understand. I don't agree, but I understand. Sapphire, what about you? Where'd you put it?
I'm thinking about whether I should put it on top of Skypia or not. Skypia is kind of like my Alabasta. It's like a... I think I'm gonna... Man, Iron making me think about ranking it number 2. I think I'm gonna rank it number 2.
Number 2?
Okay.
Okay, we all have a different favorite arc.
Yeah, just because the Skypia is just... I don't know.
I understand.
It's less clunky than
it's
Water
very good.
7.
Skypia is my number 3.
Even though I like the Water 7 stuff and I like the Sea Train stuff and I defended it, I see... it doesn't top Skypia for me.
Now, for the group ranking, the current ranking for the group is Alabasta, Skypia, and then Arlong Park. Where would you put it? Because obviously I would put it at number 2. But
Both of you would put it number 2, so shouldn't it be number 2? But Alabasta and Skypia are 1 and 2. So, but you guys
Lucian,
put
where
those
would you
in
put
different
it?
spots.
You would put it at number 1. So.
Well, yeah, but because you guys both have it at number 2, I guess 2, which would put Alabasta, Water 7, Skypia.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
That works for me. My
fine.
favorite arc is winning. Dab.
That works. And I never thought I'd put Water 7 as a rank 2, but rereading Skypia was...
It was very good.
Skypia was
very good arc.
It was.
Yes.
Wow. Ranking sucks.
It's awesome. Rankings are so cool and fun.
Well, now that we have finished our rankings, we should probably wrap up
Yes.
the podcast.
Vice Captain, please.
Yes.
I'm thinking of a ship term. I don't have any ship terms.
Wait a second.
Dock the boat.
Before you do...
Drop anchor, perhaps.
Drop anchor. I don't know.
That is actually
Raise
Zoro's
the sails. Drop anchor.
Drop the podcast on anchor.com. Haha.
Drop the mic.
Whoa. Just end our misery.
I have a question for our audience real quick before we leave.
Go for it.
What would you guys think about us doing a live stream recording of the podcast?
You don't get a choice in this, by the way. We're just gonna do it. So
It's already decided. Okay, we will do a live stream in the future. And yeah, probably on Iron Agro's Twitch, because his Twitch is more famous than my Twitch
Whoa.
and Lucian's Twitch, I would
Mm.
say. Or maybe just a YouTube stream. We can do it on both. Ugh.
If you want to figure
What?
that out, I'm all for it.
Okay, but hopefully that won't. They'll be like 3 weeks from now, so we got time.
At some point.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so excited.
Lucian? Lead the
Yeah.
way.
So, I have been your vice captain, Lucian Graves. You can check me out on Twitter or something. And with me has been your navigator, Saflam.
I do blog posts on Substack, Saflam's blog now, not newsletter anymore.
Ooh.
I do Alabaston architecture. I need to do part 3 for that actually, but that's where I'm at right now.
And Iron Aggro, our captain.
I am a sea captain, obviously, as my day job. But if not
A
by
streaming one.
by nights, I
Say it in Christian Bale's voice as Batman. By night, what do you?
By night.
no, I've passed my limit.
By night he streams.
Go check out. I don't know. Go check out Don Cheadle.
He's
Good
on
actor.
Twitter and Twitch.
Bye. Twitter, Twitch, all that, whatever. We should put links in the description of these things.
Yeah.
I should do that.
And
should.
we will be back next week.
With part
With part 1 of Ennius Lobby.
And next week we will
when-
try to have a good ending.
Yes. So thanks for checking out this week's episode of We Just Want to talk about One Piece. Yeah.
Good one.
Bye bye.
So have a good one. Goodbye.